This is Abe Friedtanzer from Movies with Abe. I'm so thrilled to be speaking with Shlomi Elkabetz about his new film, Black Notebooks, Ronit. How are you, Shlomi?
Good, good. Thank you. I'm great. I'm trying.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to be able to speak with you. I'm a big fan of yours. I actually haven't seen Shiva, but I've seen To Take a Wife and Get, and I also saw your performance in Our Boys, which was really incredible. We can talk about that a little bit later, but let's start with this project. Um, how did it start? When did you realize that you wanted to use all this footage and put it together in this way?
Wow, it's I'm shooting for so many years. I started to shoot quite early. I mean, not as a boy, of course, but like at around 18 or 20, I shot with whatever I had because when I was 18, I did not have a camera. Nobody had a camera. It was like in Israel, it was rare in the 80s to have like a video camera or a film camera, of course, so I was shooting with whatever I had during the years, and I mainly collected what I shot. I was like archiving everything I shot throughout the years. And every few years, I would go to my archives, just open everything, see that all the material is still good, and keep it, and just keep it. And my idea was like, maybe when I'm 70, 80, if I have the luck to live and I don't want to shoot any films, I'll just open my archives and maybe I'll make a film from that, whatever, And but then 2016, after Ronit passed away, I wanted to go back to the archives. We were supposed to shoot a film, and well, I canceled the shoot, and I just wanted to go into the archives and just to play. I asked my editor, I just want to sit a bit and play with my materials and see what can. I had an idea in my mind. I did have an idea, but I thought, what's the chance that out of all my shots I can make a film? Because what I shoot is like, the most banal stuff. Like I shoot people go up the stairs. I have Ronit going up the stairs 400 times. I used to love to, when I'm in Paris, when she's calling me from the airport, she says, I'm going on a cab. I used to say, okay, it's like 40 minutes. So like 35 minutes after, I would sit on the window with my camera and wait for the cab to arrive. I have many shots like that. I have the same shot over and over and over again. And I thought, like, the ideas I have are too high for these very simple, repetitive shots. I can never make a film out of it, but I do want to play with my material. And I edited two films basically. One of them is Vivian, the one that is I'm not putting out in the States, and one of them is Ronit. It's two different films, completely different. And I edited a sort of a documentary that you would see, like your regular documentary, which was surprisingly very interesting and like beautiful story. Like, it was good. It was like, and I saw it and I said, I don't want to. I don't want to make this film. It's not my type of films. I don't want to make a regular documentary now. I mean, why should I? I mean, why should I abuse the story that way? And then I had this idea at a certain point at the editing room, is that why I thought like my main problem was that I was treating my archives as the past. And I said to myself, why do I treat my archives as the past? I mean, this is cinema. It's happening as I see it. It's happening now. I'm not in the past. This is the present. This is the present. The difference is that I know what will happen. We all know what happened. I know what will happen. So it puts me in the future. And at that moment, it became really interesting for me because I came from the future to the past, to the present of my characters, knowing exactly what's going to happen. And I treat them in the present as someone who knows the future. And at that point, the film became a thriller because Shlomi in the film knows that his sister is about to die. But none of the characters in the film know the outcome. And then you have this character that confronts his knowledge that he brings from the future into the present of this love story between a brother and sister, between life and cinema. Um, and then I had another small dream, which cinema enabled, and I wanted to write Ronit a role. I wanted to write Ronit a new role. Usually it's a role that is reserved for men. It's usually a man against time, nature, death, you know. And I said, I want to write this role for Ronit, and it's woman against time, death, and nature, and she's defying them. And this is the story of Ronit. Basically, it's this brother and sister using cinema in life in order to defy destiny. In that sense, the film is almost fictional. As you see it, you feel it's a fiction film. You say, no, it's not happening. What I see is not, it's not true, but it is. It's documentary. In that sense, it's very, and when I had this idea and when I understood this concept, I said, all right, I'm doing on it. I'm making this film. It will take me time, but I'm making this film because I know what to do with all this footage that I have.
Yeah. It's really interesting too, having seen Get, there's just this extra dimension of the character goes through this entire ordeal in the film, and it takes such a toll on her. And understanding that Ronit also was going through something during that time, and then just seeing between takes. I mean, I feel like in Ronit, in the film, there's so much footage that is just from filming scenes for Get, and that's a very interesting strategy. Do you think that if somebody hasn't seen Get, they won't get as much out of that experience?
No, I think it has nothing to do with, Joel, the editor, and me, we used to call it every day another name. Let's make it the Italian case film, the Italian actress film, the Chinese actress film. It's like, let's do it as if we don't know the actress, we don't know the characters, and let's just focus on the action, the conflict. If the scene works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If you have to know me to enjoy Black Notebooks Ronit, it's not working. I mean, we always used to talk about it. So, if you're American and you're seeing an American film, you always have an extra layer of things that If you're Israeli and you're watching Israeli cinema, of course. If you talk the language, of course, it's like, but do I have to be American to see American cinema? No. And for Black Notebooks, it's the same. The film is completely free and independent. It's independent. It's really, if we just look at the story, the simple story, it's a film about a brother and sister trying to make a film as they discover that it's the end of life. That's it. So it doesn't matter which film they make. It could have been Get, it could have been any other film.
Well, you did make two films, and you said you're not releasing one of them in the US. I've obviously only seen Ronit. Can you tell me the difference between the two and why it is that one is not coming here?
They're so different. They're so different. This really two separate. Basically, I finished my first film. When I finished Vivian, it was COVID, and my plan was to do Vivian, then maybe to release it, and then to take some couple of years like I took and do on it. And then when I made Vivian, I thought to myself, Vivian is a film that I'm making for Vivian is the construction, the film Vivian is the construction, is what we are running away from. And it's a film that is so rooted in the Israeli and the French culture. And I always knew that the place for that film would be France and Israel. And Ronit, my intention from the beginning was to make a film that will talk to audiences worldwide, and that you don't need. So you asked me about, do I need to see Get in order to understand? So you don't have to see Get. No, you don't. Vivian is really rooted in the very most delicate knowledge and understanding of the culture. And I always, when I made the films, I always planned it to be like, Ronit is like the international one of the two, and Vivian belongs to Israel and to France. In that sense, I don't know why I mean, this is what I had in my mind from the beginning, so Ronit is so. There is no order. You don't need to see the two films, or they're really completely two different films. Also, the cinema is very different. Yeah.
And I think that also does compare in some ways to the trilogy that the two of you made together, where the films are connected, but you can see one without another. And it isn't. Do you think it's necessary to see all three of those, or it's a similar kind of thing?
No, with the trilogy, it was always the same. You know, in the States, a lot of people seen Get, for example, but nobody saw Shiva, or no, and nobody saw To Take a Wife. Almost To Take a Wife was a bit more exposed, but 7 Days not at all. And of course, you know, if you see, for example, if you take To Take a Wife, and you see the whole 5 films, you see To Take a Wife, 7 Days, Get, Vivian, and Ronit. Of course, you will have somewhat experience because it's the same characters, and I documented and fictionalized these characters for 20 years. So it's like seeing this long, I would say it's like a 10 hours film, you know, if you see, but at the same time, this 10 hours film that I made over 15 years, you can take pieces of it and just watch Get Alone, because it's completely independent in that sense. You don't need the knowledge of one film to enjoy the other, because the narrative is not dependent. But of course, if you see the whole thing, you know, it's like, of course, it's an experience.
Of course.
You know, it's an experience to see the whole thing together. Is like, I didn't even screen it like this yet. I screened once in LA. The LA Cinematheque invited me to screen the trilogy in a row, and I never saw the trilogy in a row. And I said, I'm just going to come to present the film in the morning, and then I'm going and I'm coming back at night to for a Q&A with Get. And I sat down and I said, wow, To Take a Wife, I didn't see it for a long time. I sat down and I've seen the whole 6.5 hours, and it was, wow, it was amazing. As one piece to see it. Today with black notebooks, which gives you like the over period and the meta of the 2 films with the same characters still, but also with the real people that the trilogy is based on. It is an experience, but still every film is like, you know, every film is a film, is independent. It's like a family, but not more than this. It's a family. If you see all the members on one table, it's always cute to see, oh, this one looks like the other, this one's like, but you can definitely meet each one of them separately. It's like, you can meet them over the years as well, you know. A lot of people did. Yeah.
Right. I think I saw To Take a Wife at a Jewish film festival, which must have been before Get. But when I saw Get, which had a lot more exposure because of its Golden Globe nomination,
Right.
you know, I don't know that I realized even they were connected until the end, because I think I had seen Ronit for the first time in The Band's Visit, which was obviously a big international success.
Right.
For fans of Ronit's here in the United States, is there a film, an underrated film of hers that you would recommend that maybe we haven't seen that we should try to seek out?
There's a really nice film. It's called Zion and His Brothers. It's a film, I don't know, this film touches me in this very, you know, the film was maybe underappreciated. We did not get the right exposure, but there's something there to see in Ronit that is like, really, it really touches me. I really love this film. It's filmed from maybe 15 years ago. Zion and His Brother. It's really beautiful, very simple. By Eran Merav is the name of the director. And it's funny. I thought you were about to ask me, will the fans of Ronit in the States discover something new about Ronit when they see Ronit Black Notebooks? I thought that's going to be your question.
Well, we can answer that too.
Yeah, no. It's like, and then yes, I don't know. You know, Black Notebooks is a documentary, but at the same time, it's a complete fiction, and it enabled me basically to shoot everything I couldn't shoot, because when there is drama, I never shoot. If somebody's crying, I take my camera down. If there's somebody in pain, I never shoot the drama. I never shoot the pain. But in the film, I did create something with the pain. You know, it's a film about separation also. And it's true that everything is suspenseful because time is after us. We are only climbing up the stairs, but obviously time is running out. But and this is like the beautiful dramatic ability of Ronit on camera whether it's just me shooting her on a regular day or in a fiction film. And the other side that we usually did not see on the cinema is the amazing humor that she had, like her ability to laugh at every specific moment about everything. This meta compose of a way to really put everything in a very humorous perspective is something that we saw a bit maybe in Ben's visit, but in a script, but never like in Black Notebooks, in this really one-on-one intimate conversation of a woman with the audience, but also with herself. You know, she's really talking to herself through the camera. And I always said that Ronit's best friend is the camera, because when the camera was there, she really, she invited her. She used to invite the camera to come into her soul. And I think Black Notebooks Ronit profits from this ability of Ronit not to talk the whole film. She talks in the whole Black Notebook. She's there the whole time, but she talks maybe twice or or three times. But you can hear her talking the whole film. It's amazing, and this is her ability as a cinematic persona, as a phantom. You know.
Yeah, I think it's a very vulnerable side of her, but she also was always aware of the camera being there. And there's that
Right.
one scene that I just keep thinking back to where, you know, she's had to shave her head and she's talking about how healthy she is and she's putting her legs all the way over her head and just like how flexible she can be. And that's a very just again, that's sort of a playful moment in a very otherwise serious time that I think is the
Right,
kind of thing you're
right,
talking about.
right.
So,
Or when she imagines the Gone with the Wind scenes, hearing the music that the producer sent, and and looking for our film. I mean, her way of like really creating humor as an image, something that you could meet in Black Notebooks. And yeah, of course, alongside the the tragedy and the pain and and everything that is there, you know, like all the story, like which is like tragic in so many ways. And they always ask me, what is the film about? And sometimes I say it's a film about love. It's a love film. It's just a love film between a brother and a sister, and the end of love. Sometimes I say it's a film about cinema and women. You know, the film is like complex for me. I find it. Every time I see it, I see something, depending on how I want to connect.
and so what are you doing next? You have other films in the works? You're going to be starring in another HBO TV series?
Acting was some experience. I actually liked it. I was surprised. I was sure I'm going to suffer because I never wanted to act, and it was a process for me to say yes. I did not say yes immediately. It took me like 3 months to really agree to do the role. I was attracted, obviously, to the scripts, to work with the directors, the HBO series, everything was like, you know, something that in my alter ego I'm doing. I'm an actor, I'm doing this, but not in real life. And I was really afraid to do it. I was really afraid to do it. I didn't want to take this responsibility. Not only taking the series on my back, I said, okay, I mean, they want me, all right. But I was afraid of not maybe having the opportunity and not being able to really communicate my ideas about what's happening there, because it was important for me to have a role, not the role of the actor, but to have a role to tell something that I can tell. I can tell through this, and also the exposure and everything. Of course, I was very stressed and I was afraid. But eventually, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the whole thing from A to Z. I was suffering, and at the same time, my spirit was really high, and it was a beautiful experience at the end of it. A violent one too, because the series is violent, and eventually it gets into you. Plus, it's very violent to be an actor. It's violent because you're being abused in so many ways. Not everybody treated me amazing. It's not about this. The image abuses you. The image abuses you in a way you feel like you're, and it's and you lose control and you gain control. So it was beautiful in that sense. Maybe I'm doing 2 more films as an actor for next year. I took 2 roles. I had many offers, but I couldn't because I'm working. And but I read these 2 scripts. One is French film, and the other one is an Israeli film, which I love very much. And I thought I want to take a break from what I do to do it. So that's for next year. And I'm working now on my new film. That I'm going to shoot in probably in May. A lot. It's a busy time, and I'm coming to show Ronit in the States, which I'm really excited about. I didn't think I would be so excited about showing the film in the States. I thought Israel and France, like for this film, Israel and France, especially with the COVID and everything, I blocked my, Get was all over the world. And with the black notebooks, I said, I'm not dealing with everything. This is like, it's too much COVID. I'm not going to travel. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to put it out where it's comfortable. It's France, it's Israel, it's my home, both countries. And I'm moving on. And then this whole thing came up, and to travel with this film to the States and to show it, it's something for me. It's an experience. I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
Well, I hope it goes so well. It was really great to be able to talk about all this with you, and I wish you lots of luck with these projects in the future.
Thank you very much, Abe. Thanks for your time.